Hey guys, it's Amber, and today I am doing another video in my Warped Tour series, and this is just my Warped Tour tips and advice, just because I know some of you guys, it's your first year going, and I know that I like to watch these videos because I think they're really cool and I always learn something new. So I just thought I would do one too. I went to my first Warped Tour last year. I hope you guys like this video, and I'm just gonna stop talking and let's get started. None of these tips are in a specific order or anything. They're kind of just randomized. My first tip is to get there early because, you know, the line starts building pretty early on. I'd say to get there an hour to an hour and a half early, just because the line will already be miles long if you get there half an hour before. The reason a lot of people get there so early is because a lot of these signings and meet and greets and stuff is limited to the first 100 people. So if you want to be guaranteed to be able to meet someone or go to a signing, you want to get there super early so you can run in there and go to the tent or the booth that you have to so you can sign up. So make sure that you get there early so that way you're not waiting in line and you might miss some people performing because the set times might have been 10 minutes after it opens. Another thing about getting there early is you can skip the line, and I think it's I don't know how much it is, maybe it's somewhere in between 10 or 30 minutes. I don't really remember. I couldn't do it last year because it downpoured, so everything was half an hour late. I brought all the stuff to get in early, but we just never did. They kind of just let everyone in at the same time because it was too behind. But you can bring in 3 canned goods, 1 cell phone, or $5. My next tip has to do with the fact that it downpoured last year is check the weather. Don't blindly go to Warped Tour not knowing whether or not it's gonna rain. Have a jacket, or you spend a ton of time on your makeup and just your hair. If it downpours and you didn't check the weather, that would really suck because you spent all this time getting ready and trying to look nice, and then it got ruined. So make sure you check the weather the night before and also the day of, and if it's supposed to rain, that way you'll know what time of day it's supposed to rain. So you'll know if it's before it starts or during the day. My third tip is just to not wear a lot of makeup. And if you wear a lot of makeup naturally and that's what makes you happy and makes you feel you're most comfortable, by far do that. But if you don't wear makeup all the time, but you're I kind of want to look nice for Warped Tour, just know that it's really hot outside. It's going to be it's the dead of summer, especially if you're going in July. Imagine that, and your makeup might melt off your face. I know that I'm probably just going to wear mascara. If I wear eyeliner, I'll make sure I set it with eyeshadow, and then maybe my eyebrows and a cheek stain or something like that. You just don't want to wear a lot of foundation or bronzer, things that are just gonna melt off. You know what products work best for you, so make sure you get waterproof ones. Okay, my next tip, this is kind of a weird tip, but if you're dehydrated, I am very dehydrated all of the time. I don't remember the last time that I haven't been dehydrated. So you might want to start drinking a lot of water leading up to it, a week before, because everyone's drink a lot of water while you're there so you don't get dehydrated. But if you're already dehydrated, drinking water there is not going to solve your dehydration problem. And I remember last year I got so sick and I felt horrible halfway through the day just because I was drinking so much water, but it wasn't helping and it wasn't doing anything because the water is not going to be ice cold. And it's just not a lot of it that you're going to be drinking all the time because you're going to be out doing stuff. So just make sure that if you can, try your best to hydrate your body leading up to it, rather than saying 2 hours before you have to go oh, I'm going to start drinking water. Yeah, just try and hydrate yourself beforehand. My next tip is to narrow down a list of bands that you want to see. If you check out my bands I'm seeing at Warped Tour video, I had my definites list, and that was a list of about 10 or so, and then I had my maybes list. Just people that, oh, I really kind of want to see them, and if I definitely can, I'm going to. Try and make a list of that, but also narrow it down to your top 3 or 5, so that way when you're there, you plan around those people and you don't miss them. Okay, my next tip is pretty important, and it is to put sunscreen on before you go. Especially if you like aerosol sunscreens, which I do, make sure you put it on before you go because you can't take it in with you. So kind of just like spray yourself and then bring like a little thing of sunscreen with you so that way you can reapply as the day goes by, especially if you're pale and you tend to sunburn more easily. You're just gonna need to know that you need sunscreen. My next tip is just to make sure that you go and check out all the merch tables for one, and vendors. There's so much stuff, like there's vendors that offer like free things, there's vendors that just like talk and stuff, like and tell you about different like things going on in the world. Like there are people that make like homemade, handmade things. You have merch tables where they sell exclusive Warped Tour merch. Like that's like one of the coolest things, is a lot of it is very exclusive, so make sure that you're saving up your money so you can buy some of it. And then you have like a lot of people that are just giving out free things. So definitely make sure that you go and walk around and look at everything, because there's just so much to offer. My next piece of like advice slash tip is to go out and like see new bands. Like if you're not doing anything, you've already walked around, you're not hungry, like you don't have any bands that you're seeing within like the next like half hour, why don't you just like go like look at whoever's playing and be like, you know what, I've heard about this band, let's go like check them out. I've never heard any of their stuff, but maybe you'll fall in love with that band or something like that. That happened to me last year with Set It Off. I just go out and like see if you can find some new bands. Like you never know, they might become one of your favorites. Okay, my next piece of advice is pretty like important, and it's to wear shoes that you don't mind getting really disgusting. Like yeah, you can like wash your shoes, but if it's like a shoe that you don't want to wash and like you don't think you can wash it and it's really nice and it's one of your favorite shoes you've ever owned, please don't wear them. Last year, because of the rain again, it was so disgustingly muddy, like covered my entire shoes. It was getting on my socks. Like your shoes are gonna get really gross, especially if it rains. And don't wear sandals either. I don't recommend that, just because you're walking around all day long, so you don't want your feet to hurt. Okay, this tip is like super important, and maybe it's because I'm a germaphobe. Bring hand sanitizer with you. Like, I don't know, like my venue has bathrooms, but they still weren't like the cleanest thing in the entire world. And I don't know if some places might have porta potties, but either way, you're around a lot of people, you're around like the outdoors, you're gonna be touching a lot of different things. So make sure you have hand sanitizer so you can clean your hands pretty often and that you don't get sick. And this is my last tip, and it's super, super important. I feel like it's honestly probably the most important thing, and it is to drink water and eat. While you're there, there's so much going on, and there's so many things you want to do and accomplish and see and all this other stuff, and you might forget that you haven't eaten yet or that you're thirsty. Like, it's very possible to forget these things, and it is so important. People pass out at Warped Tour all the time. That's why they have paramedics there. I literally was looking through Real Friends Instagram feed, and they literally were like, if you don't drink water, we're going home, because they don't want anyone to pass out and get sick, because I got super sick halfway through the day because I wasn't drinking enough water. So just make sure that you're drinking water and that you're eating food. You can bring in a homemade snack, and that's not enough for me, I know for sure, so I will have to like budget in food while I'm there, and it's kind of expensive, but do whatever you need to do to make sure that you're eating. That is all the tips that I have for this video, and if you have any questions, leave a comment down below asking me. And if you have any other tips that you have for anyone, please comment them down below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and if you want to see more Warped Tour videos, and if you are interested in my Warped Tour videos after seeing this, make sure you subscribe or go check out all my other ones. And yeah, I will just talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!